In the fractured neighborhoods of late 1990s Los Angeles, power belonged to whoever inspired the most fear, and few names carried more weight than Timothy Joseph McGhee. To law enforcement, he was a predator who treated homicide as recreation. To rivals and residents trapped inside his territory, he was an ever-present threat whose orders could mean instant death. As the leader of the Toonerville gang, McGhee presided over a reign defined by random slaughter and calculated intimidation, where strangers wandering into the wrong block could be slayed simply for existing. His crew did not rely on boundaries alone. They enforced them with bullets, creating a climate where witnesses vanished, stories changed, and fear became a form of currency. Rumors followed McGhee everywhere, that he enjoyed the hunt, that he demanded loyalty through blood, that dissent was answered with execution. By the time the city began to grasp the scope of the violence, the pattern was already set. Territory first, dominance always, and human life reduced to a scorecard in a perverse sport. The cases that finally brought McGhee into a courtroom were soaked in brutality. In October 1997, rival gang member Ronnie Martin was ambushed and shot 28 times. A savage overkill that sent a message to every opposing crew watching from the shadows. 3 years later, the violence escalated when 16-year-old Ryan Gonzalez was gunned down, his youth offering no shield against a war that consumed anyone marked as an enemy. Then, in November 2001, Marjorie Mendoza, girlfriend of a rival, was slaughtered in a shooting that demonstrated how far McGhee's reach extended beyond gang combatants. Prosecutors also tied him to attempted homicide during a calculated ambush of 2 Los Angeles Police Department officers and 2 civilians, reinforcing the image of a man who believed himself untouchable. When the trial unfolded in 2007, witnesses described a leader who ruled through terror, while the state argued these 3 homicides proved a command responsibility that made McGhee accountable for far more bloodshed than the jury could hear. The verdicts came down hard: 3 murder convictions and a death sentence, seeming to draw a final line under years of unchecked violence. Yet the courtroom record captured only a fraction of the carnage authorities believed followed McGhee's orders. Outside a recording studio in October 1999, Dwayne "Draws" Dupree, bodyguard for rapper Corrupt, was gunned down, a slaying whispered about but never tried. In September 2000, 2 more lives were erased in a single episode of chaos. 17-year-old high school student Marty Gregory Roybal and David Lamont Martin, a homeless man thought to be a potential witness, both shot to silence and shock. June 2001 brought another act of devastation when Manuel Apodaca Jr. was executed. His pregnant girlfriend, Nina Guerrero, survived but suffered catastrophic brain damage, a living testament to the blast radius of gang violence. Weeks later, warehouse worker Carlos Velasco was killed simply because McGhee did not recognize him, an act that underscored how arbitrary death had become. August 2001 marked one of the darkest chapters when Sherry Wysotsky, who had reported drug dealing at McGhee's sister's house, was slaughtered alongside her mother, Mary Ann Wysotsky, and neighbor Brian Robinson. The message was unmistakable: cooperation equaled death. That warning was driven home again when Christina Duran, a friend who spoke to police about the Mendoza homicide, was executed execution style just 2 days later. These cases never reached trial, buried under intimidation, vanished testimony, and the unspoken rule that survival depended on silence. For nearly 2 decades, the death sentence against McGhee appeared immovable. a rare moment when the justice system seemed to match the scale of the alleged atrocities. Then, on April 3rd, 2025, the ground shifted. The California Supreme Court unanimously overturned the murder convictions and death sentence, ruling that the trial judge had abused discretion by dismissing a deliberating juror who questioned the credibility of prosecution witnesses. In one decision, years of assumed finality collapsed, replaced by legal uncertainty and renewed debate over due process versus public safety. Prosecutors in Los Angeles were left to weigh whether a retrial, decades removed from the original crimes, could withstand the same forces of fear that had haunted the first case. McGhee, meanwhile, remained behind bars, serving multiple consecutive life terms, including a 75 years to life sentence for leading a violent 2005 prison riot, his physical freedom still denied, even as his capital punishment vanished. The ruling forced a reckoning. How a man linked to so much slaughter could escape the ultimate penalty on procedural grounds, and whether justice delayed had become justice denied. As the city looked back on the bodies left in McGhee's wake, the question lingered in the air, whether the law had finally caught up to the truth, or whether the truth had been permanently buried beneath intimidation, silence, and time.